And again, y'all, Sean from KappisCards back with you tonight with something a little bit different. And as promised, we're going to go through this. This is the 1989 Upper Deck set. This is the first Upper Deck set. It's got the infamous Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card in it, right? But I got this particular set when I was 10 or 11 years old. Right? It was either Christmas 89, which would have been 9, or, my birthday when I was 10 there in 1990, which is probably when I got it. And of course, being, 10 years old, I had to open it, right? I had to see the Ken Griffey Jr. card and everything else. I'd never had anything that I remember that was $100 or whatever this cost back then. And, so I had to open it, and you can hear the hologram things rattling around in there. So, I know it's open. I know everything's there. It was mine. It's been sitting in a closet for years. So we're going to take it out, and I'm going to take the cards from this, except for the Griffey Jr., and or if we hit any of the significant errors. I just want to check them out, too, just to make sure. There are a couple of other errors, like Dale Murphy, reverse negative, and the Gary Sheffield, where the position is upside down and things like that. But I've got a couple of top loaders and penny sleeves here ready. One of them will get the Griffey card, and the others... other cards will just wind up in my packs, right? And probably do the baseball update just after I do this and get all these sorted out and start updating them, so you start seeing a bunch of shorts pop up here on the channel. So like, subscribe. We've got the 500 subscriber giveaway still coming up here, right? Still building towards that. So definitely like and subscribe for that reason. And for, these sorts of rips or retail rips, or just to see what my products are going to look like very soon. So here we go, 1989 Upper Deck. And as we thought, right, as I thought over here, you could see the holograms are, kind of loose, right? I'll probably take these and just throw them into packs, right, with the associated team. Of course, the Mets one's the one that gets dinged up. But we will get these over here out of the way so they don't go spilling around everywhere. My daughter will probably take some too. She's got a big sticker collection. She'll probably like some of these. I don't know if they even stick anymore. Like, you find the old Fleer ones, they don't stick. But, so there they are, the old holograms that were in there. So let's open from this. There are 800 cards in here. Let's see where we get to start, and let's take a look at all of them. Of course, this is the first year of Upper Deck, right? If you can see on here, starting with logo holograms, you saw that. Every card was counterfeit proof. I think that's the, well, there's the Griffey, but I think it's the hologram is what makes it counterfeit proof. And, high numbers include the traded players and stuff like that. So since I peeled the Griffey here, let's take a look at it. And let's get him in a penny sleeve here pretty quick. It's a little bowed, and the corner is showing a little edge. Little touch of edge wear on it, so it's definitely not PSA 10 or even close, probably, right? It's not centered too poorly, but maybe a little top bottom, maybe a little favoring this side. But yeah, that corner's just a little touched. It's probably me, age 10, pulling it out of the box and putting it back in, right? So there is the infamous Ken Griffey Jr. rookie. Stick around, right? Don't go leaving me now, right? Now that you've seen the big card in the pack, right, or in the box. So that's what it looks like. We can look and see who some of these other rookies are. Why don't we do that first? Where the rookies end. So there's the rookie checklist. We'll go ahead and set that aside. Carlos Quintana had a decent little career. Here's Randy Johnson. That's a nice card. I'm going to set that one aside, too, for myself here, just because it's Randy Johnson, and I think it's a nice card. And usually when I get Randy Johnson, quote-unquote, rookie cards, right, it's the Donruss or Fleer varieties. So, Randy Johnson rookie card. I can always reach over here and get more of the penny sleeves and top loaders if I need them. So there they are. So they're on screen. Dante Bichette had a decent career. Van Snyder, who's he? Felix Jose hung around for a while. Ray Palacios, I don't remember very much about. He's going to be like Upper Deck packs. They're going to go every which way. Juan Bell. Mark Lemke, right, had a great career there. Not that he was a great player, but he had some great World Series moments. Ramon Martinez, this card probably had a lot of value in 1989. There is Smoltz's rookie. out of the set. So the John Smoltz rookie. I'm going to just set that right here. I'll have to get more stuff in a minute. Brennan and Blankenship, Mike Harkey. Here's the Sheffield rookie. So this, to me, the shortstop looks right side up to me. You can be the judge there too. That's part of the error. And then the other error was like his batting average is wrong, but I don't think that one was corrected. But there is the shortstop, Gary Sheffield, right? Luis De Santos, Ron Jones, DeCenzo, Greg Jeffries, of course. Everybody was chasing after the year earlier. Chris Carpenter, David West, Rolando Ruiz, Sandy Alomar Jr., I forgot was in here. Otto, who's Tony Chance, and Luis Medina. So just like anything else, right, there's some hits and there's some misses in terms of who the big rookies were. I am going to peel out some of the Mets that I PC as well as I go through and do this. If you're new to the channel, I PC the Mets. So some of them, I won't keep all of them, but let's kind of flip through these a little bit and we'll look for the significant players and significant cards too. You know, the Dale Murphy card, I don't remember what number it is. There is the Nolan Ryan throwing a football card. Then there's other stars of the day, which we haven't found yet. Brett Saberhagen, of course, was a multiple Cy Young winner. I think at least one Cy Young. Maybe more. I can't remember off the top of my head. Feels like he did. Probably the best player we pulled out of the non-rookie cards so far. Let's see what else we got here. Terry Pendleton would win an MVP not long after this. There's Ryan Sandberg. His card looks like. Oral Hershiser, of course, in '88 had the big 59-inning scoreless streak. So that was a significant player card back then. I'm sure if you looked at Beckett at the time, it had, I don't know, maybe 50 cents of value or something. Galarraga was a good player. It's got to be upper deck to go every which way. Devon White, of course, a significant player at the time. Sean Dunston had a long career. Davis was a good player for the Mariners. And let's see. Mitch Williams, of course, falling all over the place after he pitched. Probably best known for serving up the home run ball to Joe Carter in the '93 World Series. But he had an okay career. A Roscoe as a Dodger is weird for me as a Mets fan. Yeah, so I wasn't sure about, doing this, of course, right? This is something that had some nostalgia for me, but I didn't know what else to do with it. Being open, I knew that card might have a little bit of, edge wear, and it, like I said, it did. So this one. So, this is probably the best way to do this. And if I want to go through and sell those, I can still probably get okay amount of money for them. But if I sold this and said, yeah, I mean, I couldn't say it was untampered with or anything like that because it wasn't. This part of the set was, right? But the Griffey Jr. wasn't, of course, back in the day. There's the Hawk, Andre Dawson. Mark Gubiza. There's Barry Larkin, Hall of Famer. I think he's still calling Reds games. Here's another, would be in the Hall of Fame. He's a close one, right? I think Hernandez has to get in before him, personally. But you can say he was on the right trajectory until injuries got him. There's Mookie for Mets fans out there. Roger Clemens, of course, steroids keeping him out. Bob Welch won a Cy Young around then. Joe Carter hitting that home run I mentioned before for the Blue Jays. Julio Franco had a long career. Dave Stewart, another big pitcher in the late 80s. Chris Sabo was a Rookie of the Year, and there's a joke on some other channels if you watch, like The Past is Alive and stuff like that. Can't remember what some of these other errors are. Let me go over here to this Brian Holton. Is this in order? They were? So I might have missed one. Maybe I'll go back and look for that in a minute. El Cid there, Sid Fernandez. Ken Phelps. Ken Phelps. My people told me Ken Phelps. Kevin Mitchell was the MVP in '88 or '89. Ron Darling. I'm going to pull that out to the side. I do have Darling in my PC. And Will Clark. Big star at the time. Ken Phelps. There's the Nolan Ryan. The Nolan Ryan football card might have been 90 tops. Or 90 upper deck. This is the triple action Nolan Ryan card. Still a neat card. Showing him throwing there. Mark Grace early in his career. Cotto, Jeff Blauser. Okay. Holton, number 72. Oh, I flipped right to it. And it's this is actually the error version from what I'm looking at here. I've got trading card database put up next to me. That is this is the corrected version. This is the corrected version. I thought I was looking at the back one. So this is corrected. That is Holton. So if that's corrected, the other ones, that Sheffield's corrected, I'm willing to bet when we get to Dale Murphy, who is card number 357, it looks like. He's going to be in here somewhere. That's going to be corrected too. So I pull right out to Mark McGuire. That's pretty cool. And McDowell, Mike Scott, of course, had a controversially good career there. Did he scuff the ball? Was always a thing with Mike Scott. Trammell and Eckersley, back-to-back. Terry Leach. Robin Yount. So a couple of Hall of Famers here. Just past Billy Ripken. Wrong set for him. Kruk from the Phils? No, from the Padres then. Tim Tuffle. Eddie Murray. Nice one. Biggio, early in his career. And Barry Larkin again. Did we see Barry Larkin before? Did I completely misread something? I don't know. Been one of those days today. Ozzie Smith. Doug Sisk. Here's Darryl. Just had his number retired for the Mets. Which makes sense given his prevalence in Mets history in the 80s. George Bell had a good career. Vince Coleman was a star at the time, right? Although this is about when his career started its rapid decline, especially when he went to the Mets. Willie Wilson had a good career. I just passed him. There's Maddox. So you can see the set's got a lot of Hall of Fame star power, of course, in it. Billy Randolph, Palmeiro, who should, wagging his fingers, and it's going to keep him out of doing anything, aside from injecting the steroids into himself. Bradley's Burt Blyleven's a Hall of Famer. Here's Bo, standing on third base. George Brett. Harold Baines, controversially in the Hall of Fame. Ricky Henderson, another star player, of course. For a long time there, 80s and 90s on Ricky. The cards fell down here. Let's get these out like this. And Ron Gant, early in his career, is Kirby on base. Kirby Puckett. Jose Canseco. And where are we in relation to? So we should be coming up on Dale Murphy here. Len Dykstra there. McReynolds was in the MVP voting in 88. Dwight Evans was a good player. Cecil Fielder as a Blue Jay, of course, early in his career. Stottlemyre. Here's Tom Glavine. Right, 88 cards are his rookie cards. Okay, here's Dale Murphy, and it is the corrected version as well. The error is it's a reverse negative, right? That's all backwards, and it is not. So this seems to be a set that, I'm sure my parents bought this for me most likely at a card shop, either in Frederick, Maryland, Burton's or Ace of Diamonds at the time, or there was a place outside of Baltimore that we would go. I want to say it was in White Marsh or somewhere like that. That mall that's up there just northeast of Baltimore. In that area, the area that had tornadoes not too long ago come through it. But in that big mall up there, there was a like a guy that had a thing in the like a cart in the middle of the mall that had cards and sets. And I remember that because that's where I got the 89 score football set. And I really think they bought both of them at the same time, if I remember correctly. But who knows? I mean, my dad did all kinds of traveling and stuff too. He could have bought this anywhere and stuffed it in his suitcase and, brought it home as well. So, and like I said, I mean, the wrapping on it was long, long gone. So, never know. Just my memory suggests that I'm right, but of course, that's me remembering where my parents bought something in 1989 or 1990. And I know I have a good memory, but that would be pretty random. Roberto Alomar there. Let's see. Terry Kennedy. There's Cal Ripken. I was, supportive of the Orioles at the time, but, I was a Mets fan first, right? And, of course, as I got older, I got out of being a Walmart fan for anybody else. Just stuck to my team. And that's what that's cost me for my life. Tarrant Dalton, of being a Mets fan and a Cowboys fan, right? And other things that I'm still paying for. Barry Bonds, right? I think the steroid guys will eventually find their way into the Hall of Fame. What do you guys think, right? Because a lot of the stars, of course, that are in here, we've seen a number of Hall of Famers too. There's a lot of stars like Bonds and Clemens and others that I don't think they'll ever get in on the writer's ballot, right? But I think eventually the players will let them in. Because, I mean, steroids are not, you didn't crack down on it. Jim Rice is in the Hall of Fame. You didn't crack down on it. You got to let it go. Let him in. Of course, I also think Pete Rose should be in. Mike Schmidt, of course, one of the best players of all time, especially at third base. Tim Raines is in. Tim Raines used to slide around with his cocaine vials in his pocket. You let him in the Hall of Fame. I think you can let the other guys in the Hall of Fame, too. Frank Viola had a good career. There's Gary Carter. I probably have that, but I'm going to set that aside. Gary Carter, of course, my original PC. Why is Dave Magadan backwards? Okay, Dave Magadan was backwards. But there's Wade Boggs. Bobby Ojida's backwards. Did I pull the Mets at some point and flip them around? Tony Gwynn. That might have been something a young me would have done. Danny Cox. Quisenberry as a Cardinal. Doesn't seem right. Jack McDowell, of course, good career in the early 90s. Langston. Paul Molitor is a Hall of Famer. Lee Smith, I just went past, was in the Hall of Fame. So it's a pretty powerful set. Of course, you can say the same maybe about Topps and the other ones at the same time, too, in 89. In terms of stars, but since it, the first Upper Deck set, right, it's got that extra cachet, and unlike some of the other Upper Decks as you go forward, 90 was, so mass-produced, as were the other ones there in the early 90s. And, of course, then you get into when they put the UV coating on everything. And that's why I decided to go ahead and put away the 93 set that I have, the Collector's Choice set, the one with the Derek Jeter rookie, rather than getting it out and trying to do this. Because I'm afraid it's just a brick. And I don't want to sit here and, all the cards apart, right? So, or try to figure out how to unstick the one card in it. Fisk, of course, is a Hall of Famer there. And a lot of who's there in that little run. Bobby Kelly. There's David Cohn I'm going to set aside. Hojo I'm going to set aside. And Bobby Bowe there. Wally Joyner, Fred McGriff. Ted Simmons is in the Hall of Fame. Ted Simmons is in the Hall of Fame. Let Barry Bonds and them in. Come on. There's Gooden. Aguilera. Mackey, who couldn't throw it back to the catcher or pitcher, or Sasser. Randy Milligan as a Pirate doesn't look right to me. Mickey Tettleton, big old wad in his mouth there. And let's see, anybody else of significance here? Doug Jones was a closer at the time. Andy Van Slyke, of course, one of those love him or hate him players. I was a fan of a team he wasn't on. It wasn't my biggest, I wasn't the biggest fan, but can respect his career. It's a spacer or something in here. Wasn't expecting that. Here we got some checklists. One of these checklists, of course, is on the error list too, where the name is wrong. I'm just going to set it aside though. So this should be the end of the base set that we're getting to here. We're running into the checklists. So here's Keith Hernandez. I'm going to pull out for myself. And let me get the non-checklist cards here and stuff. So Lee Mazzilli as an outfielder, but he's clearly playing first base there. Fernando Valenzuela. And I don't know why Pat Sheridan would be flipped, but okay. That's then Jackson. A lot of reds right there. Kirk Gibson was the 88 MVP. Of course, that 88 MVP for Kirk Gibson, right? Strawberry, you could argue, should have won, but him and Mick Reynolds kind of split the vote there. And when they finished second and third, two teammates finished in second and third. They took votes away from each other, right? So let's see what we got here. So that is Don Mattingly on the Yankees. Is that Harold Baines, Viola? Is that Alan Trammell, George Brett? Is that Eric Davis? Yeah. Wade Boggs, Ruben Sierra, Van Slyke, yeah. Schmidt, Tony Gwynn, Cal. There's Strawberry. That is Alvin Davis. Yeah. Corey Snyder, Will Clark, Galarraga, Kirk Gibson, Sandberg, Ozzie Smith, Molitor, Dale Murphy, Fred McGriff, Jose Canseco, Ryan, the Wally Joyner. Yeah. So those are the drawing cards. And then we got the World Series cards with Hershiser, Kirk Gibson, of course, the big home run. It's Hershiser again. Eckersley, Sabo, Kirk Gibson again. Hershiser again. Walt Weiss, Canseco, and Frank Viola as the Cy Young. These are all the winners cards, right? The MVP, the Rookie of the Year, Cy Young, MVP, Rookie of the Year, Sabo. And the MVPs of the World Series, and then they just added in, of course, Gibson hitting the home run. It's another spacer card. So this is the supplemental set after the last checklist there. 700 through 800 here with the trades and the signings elsewhere and all that kind of stuff. So this was fun to kind of go through this and see these. I don't get a lot of 89 Upper Deck in the bulk things that I buy. That was another reason I want to do this, so I can mix them into the packs. I do get some that come through, or I have in the past, but not too much, right? Of course, you get all the other Upper Decks, right? Dennis Cook. There's Mitch Williams again. A Cub. There's the Nolan Ryan football card. I knew it was in there somewhere. I don't know why I thought it was 90 Upper Deck. He's got to be doing something else in 90 Upper Deck. But Nolan Ryan throwing a football. So you're probably yelling at me earlier if you watched only up to that point in the video. It's probably be somebody yelling at me in the comments. There's Edgar Martinez. Jerome Walton would have been a huge card, of course, in 1990, 89-90. Eddie Murray as a Dodger now. Fred Lynn on the Tigers. Ozzie Canseco. There's the Jim Abbott in the sort of triple image. Just like the Nolan Ryan card. Todd Zeile would have been a huge card, of course, back then. And who else we got? Pete Harnish. Steve Finley. Early in his career, he had a nice, solid little career. There's Randy Milligan. I remember him the most, right, as an Oriole, right, around when Oriole Park opened there, where I was growing up. Wally Backman on the Twins. He's got a starting lineup, I think, on the Twins. Craig Worthington, Greg Olson, big saves guy, in the late 80s, early 90s. A few more to go. Here's Tommy Hers, a Philly, Spike Owen, Dempsey, there's Blyleven as a Angel. And who are we going to wind up with here is Al Leiter as a Blue Jay. And last but not least is Jesse Barfield. So that is the box, except for these couple of holograms that snuck their way through. So if you ever wondered what the 89 Upper Deck set looked like, there you go. You saw every card flash through. It's the corrected set, right? But still, it's a set. So, you know, I appreciate you watching if you did. Something a little different. And we'll probably do this again with a football set here. The one I've got left that I hand collated of during COVID is 89 Pro set. I might bounce into that too. So, you know, otherwise be on the lookout for new baseball card pack updates. And I got a ton of football cards, a big random boxes I got on an antique mall. So be sure to check those out. And again, be sure to like, subscribe. We got that 500 subscriber giveaway. So as soon as we hit that magic number, we'll be giving away some cards. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the shop.